Hello everyone, I am JOEHOVA. Welcome back to Liberty or Death. This video and the next video are going to be kind of weird, I apologize, but when I recorded the actual game footage, my audio did not come through, so there's no commentary. So what I'm going to do is a massive edit and a commentary over the top. So this is basically going to be for continuity. A lot of people don't watch these videos. I wish they did, but it doesn't get a lot of play. This is for my portion of what I enjoy. But if you're here and you're watching this, I appreciate that. Consider hitting that like button and subscribing. But we're going to play through this real quick, and I'm going to drop in and do some commentary, maybe speed up the battle so you can kind of see what's going on. So I appreciate you being here. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the fun. All right, so at this point, I was attacked in White Plains. White Plains is number 18 there by Monmouth, and 25, I can't remember what that one's called. And here's the battle. So I got attacked by 2 regiments. This one is the only one that's really important right here. Holloman. See, he's got a 28 training, which is pretty weak. And then this guy, John Butler, he's actually pretty strong. So he's really the only one I was worried about here. And I didn't know how many people I had at this point. I hadn't got a chance to see. So I was already trying to think about strategy. And it turned out I only had 1 defender. But I had brought in some reinforcements from Albany. And so as I place these out, I'm putting my infantry in the front, my artillery in the back. And I'm going to try to create some kind of a funnel that they have to come into. Now, it turned out that the main attacking British army did not have boats. So that gave me an advantage. That means he had to come across the ford there by the castle and chase me around. So my initial thing was to get these northern units down into the battle, because if they get captured, I don't lose necessarily. And to get Lamb, my artillery there, up in the north away. And at this point, I was really worried about Butler hitting me from those mountains or those trees, causing massive casualties to my men. So that was a concern. But as you can see, the guys actually started running down south away from my other units, which was fine. Didn't matter much, and it turned out that, my militia there didn't have the training to get up on a hill the first turn, so that was going to slow them down as well. You can see I'm still just trying to get as far north as I can. It's nighttime, fog of war, so I can't see what they're doing now. I'm assuming they're coming up north at this point in the battle, but it turns out that that's not what they're doing. You'll see that in the morning time. So now it's morning time and I see where they are, and this is a real problem for me because Butler can go into the mountains. He's a guerrilla, so by getting into the mountains, he has a real chance of cutting off Lamb before he can get to that river. These artillery, they can build bridges, and so my main idea is to get get Lamb across that river as quickly as possible. You can see how fast this guerrilla unit is moving, and like I said, there's a real opportunity here for me to get screwed in this deal. Yeah, you can see he entered the mountains right there, so now I can't see him. And I've got a little bit of a head start, but with all these hills up here, it's going to be, a little bit more difficult for me to move. There I built my bridge. This is my escape route right here to get Lamb across that river. And now I got to be thinking, okay, the British unit has to sweep all the way up around or come back left and attack me from the south. So I'm okay right there. I just have to live long enough for that to be a thing. So I move my main force onto the river to create an avenue so that I can attack Butler if he attacks me, which he's about to do, I think. I probably should have moved my infantry in to that spot right there, but I actually moved them back to create a defensive position, which ultimately turns out okay, but this happens. I get attacked. And that's not good. That's 25% of my force right there. So he can only move there. That means he's going to get attacked again. I entrench my boy there. And I get attacked again. So my real fear is that he's just going to follow me right across this bridge and get in behind me. So now I'm just going to hit him with artillery as hard as I can, try to weaken him. But if I can lure him onto that bridge, I have an advantage, and that's exactly what he did. He wants to take out Lamb, and Lamb is getting hurt bad. And if he goes out, then I lose this battle. You can see that I got a big hit on him. And I can't really back up, because if I back up from here, he has a chance to get in those trees and get behind me and hit all my units. So I just got to push hard. I wanted to push with my infantry and hit him to push him off that bridge. But it turns out it's not necessary. I get extremely lucky in this battle right here. So I move back. I can't risk, losing Lamb at this point. And I'm just barraging the hell out of him. And then that happens. I knock the bridge right out from under him, which is beautiful, because now he's suffered heavy casualties as well. He's only got 88 men left, and he's on the wrong side of the river without a boat. So that means they both have to now come back around south to attack me again. And Butler withdrew, so now it's only the original English army coming after me. And so now I'm in a great spot. I got 3 artillery pieces, and Wadsworth not any help, so I got rid of him. I got 3 artillery pieces and a very strong infantry against a relatively weak infantry. At this point, I'm not going to lose this battle. It's just a matter of time until he gets to me. So I start readjusting my men. All right, so he finally got to me. I'm entrenched. I've got 3 artillery pieces, and he attacked at night, which is smart because my artillery can't hit him at nighttime. But it ain't nighttime no more. You can see he's not doing a whole lot of damage against my infantry, and now it's time for the cannonballs. And this is a beautiful position. You don't get many opportunities like this to have 3 artillery pieces hitting 1 unit. That's weaker than you anyway, so you can just hold the door closed. It's beautiful. So we can just sit here and watch as I bleed this English regiment. I was surprised how long he stuck it out, to be honest. He's just sitting there taking punishment. And And they usually only do this if they bring like a lot of money or stuff into the, but I don't think he brought much. And usually once you get them under 100 men, they'll split out. See, he's at 114. Now he's under 100 men, so he'll probably leave now. Nope, still wants to fight. And he escaped, which sucks because I wanted to capture him. So you have that. We were successful in defending, but now Lamb is really hurt bad, and I don't have a lot going on in the Western Theater. My army is really up north at this point. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do. But before I could do much of anything, it was time to go back to Congress. And this is always a little bit of a pucker factor because the colonials like to kick you out of office, and that's how you can lose the game. But at this point, I was okay. Got to do look at all my officers, see who I wanted to promote. At this point, I think I went ahead and promoted Tidge Tillman. He's a damn good fighter. So that's what I got there. And McIntosh, who runs my Southern Army. Just want to make sure that don't get a militia down there that's going to take over my army, so went ahead and bumped up McIntosh as well, I believe. You can see I'm just thinking about it. Because there's a possibility as well that you just don't give anybody a raise, save some money. But yeah, ultimately I think I went ahead and gave McIntosh the bump up as well. And I got an extra 2550, which is nice. Especially early in the game, you really struggle for money as a colonial, but I just got a huge amount of cash. And so obviously I'm going to put some of that into my Navy, which I have a very weak Navy. I want to put a transport in Philadelphia. That'll give me the ability on defense to have a boat there to disrupt the British if they come across and try to attack me. So that's what I do here. I put my transport in Philadelphia. You can see Pennsylvania and New Jersey are lousy with redcoats, so got to do what I can. And then I want additional regiments in the north. I have to pay my officers. That's what they make. That'll keep their loyalty up. And then I go from a puny fleet of 11 ships, and since I got all that cash, I put it right into the Navy. And so I go ahead and give them 49 more ships. It's $2,400, nothing to laugh at, but you know, it's going to make my Navy stronger. And then how much do I want to give my regiments? I hold a little back always if I can to provide quartermaster and commissary. That'll give me food and powder for all of the districts. Kind of just spreads it out. You can see, excuse me, 16,000 food right there. That's nothing to laugh at either. 8,000 powder. So, you know, going into this campaign with a little bit of stuff behind me, which is always nice. All right, so at this point of the game, I'm just trying to move all my forces up north. I want to hook around and sweep, but then I get attacked at Albany from Fort Ticonderoga. So what are we going to do here? This is kind of my anchor. I can't really afford to lose this area. And unfortunately for me, Fitzwalter's a little easy, but then I got Henry Clinton, which happens to be the commander-in-chief of the British Army. They wouldn't have sent him if they didn't think they could win, right? So I also have Johann Holder down there, and he's no joke either as far as a British artillery. That's probably the best British artillery unit in the game other than, well, I think he is the best one in the game, but I could be wrong there. But you can see I have to figure out what I'm going to do with my men and what my strategy is going to be. One of those guys have a boat. Actually, two of them have boats. So the river's not going to be a huge protection for me, but I'm going to use it anyway. So my idea is to bring Tench Tillman and to make him my linchpin, and I kind of screw that up. You'll see that here in a minute. But the first part of the battle's a lot of maneuvering, so you'll see where I'm moving my army around. We'll burn through that real quick as well. Alright, so I left poor Wadsworth up there as bait, trying to get a couple extra moves, hoping they would attack him, and it worked. They went right down after him. But 14 men's not going to stand to 500. So he's gone. Like it might have given me an extra move. So my plan now is to plug that hole, but the problem is with Holder, he's got a boat and he's got a gun. So he can come into range and blast me off that spot. So I'm not going to be able to hold the trees in the mountain like I'd want to. So my plan is to move guys down, especially my artillery, kind of into that corner and create a little defensive knuckle that they have to come in and rub out, and it's not going to be easy for them. My real problem was I left Montgomery kind of hanging in the wind up there a little bit too long. And you can see him standing there on that hill, and I kind of entrenched thinking, well, they're going to have to come in and attack me at this spot, but I was too far north because Holder winds up getting on that river and hitting me over the top of those mountains right there. And so it was not a good defensive position. I really had to recalculate there and think, okay, well, if you want to play that game, we're just going to have to back it on up and see what we can do. So we'll see how many moves there are away right now. You can see that Clinton's coming from the north and Holder's already in range and he's popping me. And that's when I realized, okay, this is not a good spot. Should have already known that. Let's back these boys off. Just pop them in the corner and we'll defend right down there. You can see that Montgomery's going to be in range again when Holder moves down to the south. And I was hoping maybe to draw them in so I could hit Holder from the shore. That would be my best bet. You can see Montgomery's taking the worst of it right here. And so I was like, well, to hell with it. They can't hit this far in. I'm going to take this guy, Stark, up here and attack this British. Now, I thought at the time it was Fitzwallace. It turns out it was Clinton, which is probably not a great idea. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do. And then I moved Tillman, trying to get Holder to come down even further south, and it worked. That's when I realized I had Henry Clinton in front of me, and that's not a good feeling. So I'm kind of effed right here. I've got to figure out a way to get these regiments in a position to defend against Clinton, but also draw Holder's fire. So Tench Tillman is my man, and that's what I'm going to think about doing here, is bringing him on up. See that, so he's getting closer in range, and here I go. We're just going to attack. That's what we have to do at this point. And here comes Clinton with the bayonet, and that's not good. But luckily Holder took the bait and he hit Tillman instead, so it didn't weaken my front line, and now I get Tillman in a position to hit Holder hard. And he does. You can see that right there. And now Henry Knox is going to come up and he's going to help out with the situation with Clinton. I got to hit him as hard as I can. And again, in this battle, I get extremely lucky. Catch a break there. I gravely injured Clinton, which means his men are not going to be as strong now, which is good. And so I'm thinking, well, I guess I just defend. I need to conserve men, because here comes Clinton with the bayonet again, still taking more of me than I'm taking of him. But I can still hit Holder because he's right there on the river. Boom, another 61. So he's hurting now pretty bad, and I'm just waiting. Clinton now firing into my boys, and I've had about enough of this. When morning time comes, I'm going to bomb the hell out of that dude. You can see another 43. Holder's just about done. He doesn't have much left. Clinton back with the bayonet again, but now we're even. And so it's turning out good. Holder slips away. I did not get a chance to capture him. That sucks. And here we go. We're bombing Clinton. And my plan here is just to hit him as hard as I can for as long as I can. And hopefully try to capture him if he escapes. But I didn't have to, because I mortally wounded that bastard. He died in battle, and that means I captured him, and that means the battle's over because he was the commander-in-chief. If you're keeping score, that's the second commander-in-chief I've destroyed so far in this series. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good. We just defended our central position in Albany, and now it's time for Washington and his boys to move on down through Canada. And speaking of Mr. Washington, he's up in District number 3, and I wanted to kind of swing in from District 1, but he's got a good army here, and I decided to do some spying instead. Now, this can be a little dangerous, but I think I'm playing on easy mode, so it's not as dangerous. And plus, I got some cash, which is always helpful. So I look over my boys. This is his army right here. Who's got the most tactics, and who's got the most loyalty, and who's got the body? It's gonna take 30, and I need 40 to attack. So looks like old Teddy down here, Teddy Cause, is gonna be my boy to spy on the British, and I'm hoping to get information on the number of troops there as well as the terrain. I kind of remember what it looks like here, but I wanted to make sure because, you know, I don't have boats for everyone. I want to make sure that I can actually build bridges to get across to where I need to go. So in this case, I actually send Thomas because I'm going to leave him behind. And so here's the spying action. There's your little graphic there. Guy slipping a note. And it was successful. So we find John Burgoyne. He's the only guy there. He's cavalry. Only got 250 men. He's a tough one, but this is the guy that Gates and Benedict Arnold beat at Saratoga. So you can see that's what I'm looking at. I can build bridges to get across, so I'm not going to have a problem there. And that's all I was worried about. So got to strike while the iron's hot, and that's exactly what I decided to do here. I'm going to take Washington's army, and I'm going to attack Quebec. Not going to have any help. It's just going to be, 5 guys going up there. But it's 5 against 1. Now, I don't know who's in District number 8. Three Rivers. There could be a whole shit ton of British there. So I'm just kind of crossing my fingers, hoping for the best, but I'm going all in. All the rations except for 1,000, all the powder, all the money. With the commander-in-chief. If I lose Washington, I lose the game. It's that simple. At this point, I don't care. It's all or nothing. Here we go. Oh, I did get to bring one officer. That's right. Forgot about that. So since Thompson had moved up to the north, Putnam was now available, so I brought him in as well. So now we have a possibility of 6 on 1 or 6 on however many the British bring. And in this case, they brought nothing because they got nothing. They ain't nothing. And so it's little Burgoyne there, little horsey man, trying to defend against Washington. So we'll speed up this battle and watch how it unfolds. So it didn't take him very long to figure out that I was coming for his horsey ass. And he got out of there, but I did not capture him, and that sucks. Gotta start capturing these units, man. So at this point, I've entered Canada, and I'm starting to take it over, and we're going down south. And down here, I'm really just trying to build an army, and I don't make a whole lot of progress at that front, so we'll move ahead to something interesting. But it doesn't appear that too much more happened during this campaign. This original video was over an hour long, and I've cut it down to less than 30 minutes here, so half of it was gone. But this was a new style for me. It's not really my favorite personally, but it's something I had to salvage these videos in some way just to keep the continuity right. So this one will be like that. The next one will be like that. And you guys got to tell me if you like it or not, if you want to change it or go back to the regular commentary or do this kind of style. I personally like to watch the game, so I like to do the whole thing. But, you know, it's really, I'm here to entertain you. So hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button, maybe subscribe, tell your friends. Until next time, my name's JOEHOVA, and I'll catch you later. Goodbye.